Every time I come back to the UK after living in Australia, I notice the same strange things. Some tiny, some big, some hilarious. So here's everything that feels bizarre after 5 years away. Okay, a bit of background. I grew up in the UK and then I moved away to Australia and I've been working in Australia for the past 5 years. And now I come back once a year to see my family and friends, and it feels unfamiliar. This video isn't a UK slam. It's supposed to be lighthearted, just reverse culture shock. The first thing I notice is the dampness. Classic British dampness. It doesn't matter if it hasn't rained for 6 hours, the streets just never dry. One thing that I noticed about Australia, and in fact is something that I haven't really gotten used to yet, is people walk around barefoot all the time. But I now realize why UK people could never do that, because the streets are very damp and dirty, and if you were to walk around barefoot, you probably look like you've been walking around in a coal mine or something. But regardless, I'm still not fully behind the whole barefoot walking into a supermarket kind of thing in Australia. That's just a bit much for me as a British man. Number two is the accents. I obviously have a British accent, which I'm slowly losing over time. But every time I come back here, the British accent sounds so strong. It's like everyone's auditioning for a BBC drama, which is weird because it just used to be the normal for me. Even the local barista sounds like they're about to solve a murder. Speaking of coffee, I didn't actually start drinking coffee until age 27 when I moved to Australia. And the only reason I started drinking coffee is because I had a whole year of emergency shifts and I needed something to stay awake for a night shift. And in Australia, they just have a huge coffee culture. And I actually really like that about Australia. Australia take their coffee seriously and they make really good coffee. I don't think I've had a single good coffee since being back. And in fact, I think I had the worst coffee of my life in a National Trust cafe just a couple of weeks ago. I asked for a soy latte. I'm pretty sure the milk was gone off and it left me with emotional damage. Emotional damage! But even if their coffee is terrible, their tea culture is elite. I don't know why tea tastes better here, but it does. Maybe it's because we have tea for everything. You have tea when you arrive somewhere, you have tea when you leave somewhere, you have tea if someone is sad, you have tea if we're celebrating. If aliens landed here, the first thing they'd be offered is a cup of tea. And whilst we're having our cup of tea, there's one thing that British people love to talk about, and that's politics. It kind of feels like every conversation you have here will slowly turn to politics. Like everyone knows what's going on politically in the country. And that's one thing I noticed in Australia, potentially because it's so large and you have the states which are quite separate from each other. You often don't really know what's going on in other states unless you really follow the news closely. And people don't just talk about politics all the time in Australia. Whereas in the UK, you're pretty much guaranteed to hear something political every time you step out of the house. Talking about politics is basically a national sport. And in addition to the politics, there was always some national drama going on that the whole country knows about and the whole country is talking about. Whether it's some kind of political scandal or this NHS thing is happening or whatever, there's some big drama and everyone knows about it. I'll be away for 11 months and I'll walk into conversations like I've been following the plot the whole time. And speaking of politics, one of the things the politicians should probably sort out is the vape situation here. Like, I genuinely think it's insane that you can walk around and you see advertising for vapes at the bus stop. You can just walk into a corner shop and just buy vapes off the shelf. One thing that they have improved on, and I came here a couple of years ago, I noticed they were selling vapes on the shelf next to the toothbrushes in Sainsbury's, which was absolutely ridiculous to see. Literally, 7-year-old could pick up a vape off a shelf. I think now they've actually put the vapes behind the counters, which is awesome. I'm not saying Australia's got it right. Australia have actually made vaping nicotine prescription only, so you have to see a doctor to get a nicotine prescription, which I think is a bit much, but just putting the vapes behind the counters and not advertising them on buses, on trains, is probably the right middle ground. Australia's too little, the UK is too much. Walking around, I thought I was seeing the London fog, but in reality, it was just 14-year-olds exhaling pineapple cheesecake iced gelato. Moving on to the manual struggle. In Australia, everyone drives automatic cars. Initially, I didn't like it. I hated it. I thought I enjoyed driving manual. I thought I liked being at one with the vehicle, feeling like I'm actually doing stuff. But as the years have gone by, I've realized automatic is far superior. You can just chill and drive. You don't have to hold your foot on the clutch the whole time. Coming back to the UK and trying to drive manual, yeah, It was a struggle. It took me a good 5 minutes to actually get back into it. And I'm not gonna lie, I accidentally put the car in reverse without putting the clutch down. The engine made a noise I've only heard in horror films. The short grey days. So I've come back in November this year, which I somewhat regret. I think the sun rises around 7:30 and it sets around 4 p.m, which just makes things ultra depressing. It's like the brightness is just turned down a little notch. And because of the short days and the dimness and the cold, it has made working out quite difficult. And actually, when I've tried to do exercise, I'm pretty sure my warm-up needs a warm-up. And in Australia, I basically live outside, I walk to the park, I do my exercise outdoors, I never really have to do a warm-up. So yeah, I do miss that massively, and I'm very excited to go back and experience some warmth again. I joke about all this, but coming back once a year honestly makes me feel grateful for both places. You notice the quirks, but you also notice the charm. Australia gives me freedom and sunshine, but the UK gives me family, grounding, and nostalgia. Both feel like home in their own way. Let me know in the comments what you find strange when you come home after being away. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, I'm pretty sure you enjoyed this video here, where I talk about the one thing that the UK absolutely beats Australia at. I'll see you there.